where the past comes alive.
Hello, I'm Arthur Kent. Welcome to History Undercover. For more than 20 years, a Mississippi government agency, ostensibly funded to promote the state's image, actually secretly spied on many of its own citizens. Called the Mississippi State Sovereignty Commission, it kept files on tens of thousands of people. Their so-called crime was sympathizing with the civil rights movement that was threatening a way of life. Our program, based on documents that were secret for decades, looks at this commission and the crimes its members committed and covered up. Join us as History Undercover presents Mississippi State Secrets.
I don't like it.
Why not?
I don't like a nigger.
I wish they'd kill them all.
We are tired of being murdered. We are tired of being shot down.
The fight for civil rights in America in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s was a time of terror and courage, murder and triumph. Some of the bloodiest confrontations were fought in Mississippi.
The only way we can win this fight is to defeat the enemy, to destroy the enemy before the enemy destroys us.
All those in favor say aye.
In 1956, the Mississippi State Legislature created an agency to monitor, inhibit, and destroy civil rights activities throughout the state. It was called the Mississippi State Sovereignty Commission. Although it wasn't secret, many of its activities were. After 21 years of operation, the state legislature voted in 1977 to close down the commission and seal its files for 50 years. The secrets remained hidden until 1998, when a 9-year court battle to force open the files was finally won by the American Civil Liberties Union.
That's you.
That's me there.
I wanted to present to you the papers that you requested.
21 years is a long time to wait to see what's in here.
The files contain 132,000 documents with information on more than 87,000 citizens. Their pages reveal the sordid details of how this taxpayer-supported agency spent hours behind closed doors monitoring every facet of the civil rights movement.
That I'm not going to allow anybody to pull me so low as to use the very method of perpetuated evil.
They also expose an even darker role. The long secret files reveal that this state-sanctioned agency had close ties to the violence perpetrated by the Ku Klux Klan.
I'm afraid that some of that violence has to be laid at the feet of the Sovereign Commission. The giving of a cloak of respectability, of legal respectability, to tactics that were designed to discourage civil rights activity in Mississippi played right into the hands of the most violent citizens of our state. And as a consequence, people's lives were lost.
We must identify the traitors in our midst. We must eliminate the cowards from our front lines.
Some of the worst victims were whites. Some of them were literally drummed out of the state as a result of the investigations by the Sovereignty Commission.
Horace Germany was a Church of God preacher born and reared in Neshoba County, Mississippi, in a very, very rural area. And he wanted to come back to the state and build a school for, he wasn't even talking integration, for young black Church of God ministers. And the wrath came down on him.
The Sovereignty Commission began investigating Reverend Germany in 1956. His first offense was inviting Negroes into his home for meals.
The investigators go out to Horace Germany's farm and take the license plate of everyone who comes and goes there. The investigators would deliberately drop this information, you know, that all this race mixing out here.
By 1959, the commission was secretly reading Germany's mail and had assigned an agent to shadow his house.
There was a man who would drive by our house every day in a taxi, and he was like a spy. Apparently he was hired by the Sovereignty Commission, and he would come by and check on to see if any blacks were at our house.
The next year, Governor Barnett sent his Attorney General to speak with Reverend Germany.
There was a time that Governor Ross Barnett had conveyed to the Attorney General Joe Patterson that he was to tell us, or tell my dad, that if he didn't get out of Mississippi in 24 hours that he would be killed. And it wasn't a veiled threat. It was an out-and-out threat. You either leave or you die.
Not long afterward, when 2 of Reverend Germany's 4 children were home alone, a mob descended on their house.
I recall this stream of cars that was endless started driving past our house up into our yard, and people started getting out, yelling obscenities, threats.
This time, no one was hurt. But 2 weeks later, when Reverend Germany was in town, 20 men surrounded him.
And then these men just closed in on Daddy and they started beating him up. They had blackjacks, billy clubs, guns, and they hit him in the head, they hit him in the face, they knocked his teeth out. They knocked him on the ground, and Daddy never struck back at him.
But Reverend Germany was alive, and with the help of his students and family, he was able to get to a hospital.
Well, he was there for a short time when the nurses came in, the nuns did, and they took him up into the attic of the hospital. And they kept him there for 3 days because the White Citizens Council was scouring the town trying to find Daddy because they wanted to finish what they hadn't finished before. But they never did find him, and the nuns wouldn't tell.
Germany was finally concerned enough about the safety of his family to leave Mississippi. He moved to Kendleton, Texas, where he finally was able to establish a college for black preachers.
Daddy won, and his cause won, and black people won, and we won.